Welcome, my little couch potatoes, to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Lama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Lama.
We bring the jury.
Bring the jury. Well, hello, everybody. And we are back again today because we have a lovely guest with us who I've been waiting to talk to again since the fundraiser. Because it was such a fun time having you
It
on
was
and
so
Nick
fun.
on.
Yeah, I felt bad for Mike because I was like, okay, best behavior, best behavior, best behavior. Because I know Nick and we are like the third rail always. So, you know, we were like trying to be on our best
You guys are
behavior.
great and fantastic. It was even like, I think that was the hard part of the fundraiser is like every single person we would have up and talk to, then we had to like let go because others came on. But like that was the beauty of it,
It
right?
it was
So much
nice
fun.
because it's really amazing to see how big this has gotten. You know,
Mhm.
when this started, I think, Nick had covered I think the deposition, and then, I think Megan had covered it. But it wasn't really big on LawTube yet. So
Mm.
it was really interesting. And then it's been interesting to see the mainstream media finally pick it up. Because that's been weird, to kind of see them stumble onto the what in the Walmart rapture is this?
Right? Regarding that, I don't think she's realizing if she takes this to trial what that means. And I am so here for it. Like, girl.
I am of two
Ooh.
minds. I see her taking the plea, but then um, going into rehab.
Mm.
So definitely something medical. I do wonder, and on a serious note, how her body is functioning, being at that weight is not healthy. And, you
Mm-mm.
know, for her own health and safety, I do hope that, if she does take that route, then it she eventually opens up to getting help for whatever.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, nobody really wants anything that kind of bad to happen to her, but it is cause for a lot of concern. Like, we don't particularly care to like, you know, make fun. Like whether it's on purpose, it doesn't really matter. It's at a very scary place right now.
I think it's an
So,
element of control. I think that she very much craves control in
mhm.
her life. You see it, with the way she tries to interact with people. She tries to control them. And I don't know where that comes from. Like, this is where I like want to
Mm.
deeply study people. I'm like,
Mm.
let's talk, Laura. I want to talk about everything because I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
you out like a puzzle piece because your Legos don't make sense to me, but I want to put them together to make sense or at least understand the structure and how they got there. But so and eating disorders because I struggle with disordered eating or whatever the hell we call it now. Who the
Mhm.
hell knows?
Right.
Um, but it's a lot about control because when I have things that are very out of my control or my pain's high, I can find myself very easily falling into, okay, this is a good food, this is a bad food because it's something I can control.
Mhm.
So and I don't notice it consciously at first, but then I'll start noticing it a lot. So it could be something like that.
Yeah. And and like trying to figure out Laura Owens is baffling because you have to really go super deep into the story to really start to see the patterns emerge from her. But even then, once you think, oh, this is probably where she's going to stop here or do that. No, it's like, let's
Yeah.
pick the option that's going to be the worst case scenario. And
I
even
will
then,
say
it's like, what?
listening to her parents' bankruptcy depositions or hearings was very elucidating as far as her patterns very much mirror her mother's patterns. Whether
Mhm.
it's weaponized incompetence or willful mishearing, it was very interesting. There's another thing they don't they don't come out and ask for what they want. Because it was funny to hear the mom kind of dance around with the judge, like, well, we have the foreclosure
Hmm.
and like, we didn't do any of the paperwork or anything, and we just sent bank records, but we need you to kind of continue this. Can someone make the math make sense? Because I'm still trying to figure out this math. How does one have as much money as, and look, medical costs are a butt monkey, so I'm not
Absolutely.
negating that. Where in the hell in handbaskets did their money go? Like,
That's what we all want to know. I mean, I can't expect it all went to medical. It's very hard to believe. But, we've kind of been like on the fence with her parents because we still have a lot more of the story to cover. But, now that these bankruptcy hearings have really started becoming, intense the last month and a half, it is starting to make more sense of like, oh, okay. You're starting to see like more of the family dynamic. And you're like, oh, because it's like, how did Laura get this way? And then you're like, oh, okay,
Oh,
okay. I can
yeah.
well,
see that there are
yeah.
some things that probably,
Yeah, but I
lend
also
itself to
wonder
her.
about the dynamic because, and I've not dug deeply into the family because most of the time, I
Mm,
try to stick on the person.
yeah.
But it does appear to casual observers that her sister seems like a functional adult. So what was
Mhm.
the difference in parenting? What was
Yeah.
the different styling? Did the mother see herself in Laura? Because they are very much behaviorally kind of similar. I saw, her do a lot of things in the, bankruptcy lawsuit that Laura kind of does, where she willfully doesn't listen. She continues to talk about the smear campaign. it's, it's
Yes.
really odd. And, you get to a certain point, though, where regardless of what happens in your childhood,
Hmm.
you have to start making good choices. So there is a point where I do kind of wonder about the genesis of all these sort of behavioral patterns. But there comes a point where you realize that these aren't working for you. And if
Oh, that's burning hot.
that's why you don't touch the camera.
Hey, y'all, remember, it's summertime. We all got kids. They're gonna
Yeah,
come
and
in at the right
well, and
times.
the youngest, most feral is stuck in my room because power tools and putting up cabinets, he wanted to
Yeah.
help. And we're like, no, we've paid the
Mhm.
people from Lowe's a good deal of money to put these up.
Appreciate you wanting to
Next
be a help,
time, we'll
but
just pay you.
You
yeah.
might come out cheaper.
Well, and I feel like, because as we've read all of the court documents regarding the three guys, and there's this brazenness from Laura. Like she's fearless in how she approaches the court, how she talks to the court over and over and over again. And then now we have these bankruptcy hearings from her parents who I feel are doing the same thing. They don't think that there are consequences for
Well,
what
that's
they
the
say
kind
and
of
do.
hysterical thing because it seems like they are fudging a lot of things. And you would think the last thing you would want to do would be garner, the federales and the,
Right.
IRS, but they're, fraudulently, or not allegedly fraudulently,
Mhm.
but incomprehensibly putting themselves in the eye of these regulatory commissions that they probably shouldn't want to be drawing the ire of.
No.
It's the hysterical like paradoxical behavior of humanity that I find absolutely hysterical because I'm like,
Absolutely.
you realize what you're doing.
Right? I mean, it would not surprise me if there's some further investigation into
and
things.
and and I don't think that they were anticipating that. That's the part that really confounds me. But does speak to a level of entitlement and a level of getting away with things in the past. Because
Yes.
this isn't a first time thing that you would do.
Your
I'm
writing board is clean.
Thank you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So I wonder if, him being or the father
That's the
being,
cleaning stuff for the board.
somewhat famous gave Laura a very confused sense of how normal people get treated, if that makes
Yes.
any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were probably very deferential to her father, and she thought that that's how normal, everyday people, you know, got treated. I don't know. She's an interesting, like, I don't do Sudoku or Rubik's cubes, but I would sit in like just reading Laura's life for days and be like, this makes sense.
Or does she just think she's special and should be treated differently?
Yeah, sometimes I try to logic too much. Sometimes, I sit and we'll spend hours musing, and then I'll just say, evil is evil.
Mm-hmm.
I think my theory on Laura is that she was raised on such a bubble that she doesn't have any experience, cannot relate to the real world. It's my dad is famous. We get all these elite things. I got my ponies. And that's why her lies are so obvious, because that's not real life, like for anyone, anywhere.
No.
And that's what I think that's my theory on how Laura, she thinks that, oh, this lie is going to work for everybody. And it's like, girl, no, particularly the pregnancy lie. Like, we all pretty much have the same experience on what happens when you find out you're pregnant.
Yeah, she is so divorced. It's like she watched one Lifetime movie maybe years ago. But again, like when I made fun, or when I critiqued Jess Mucolata Chato, I watched some of her stuff so I could pick up some of her mannerisms. There is some, if you want to lie, there is, a truth to it, adult pretenders, actors. A lot of them do research into the person, the character, all the backstory, because, there is that kind of logic. You have to have an internal logic, even if you're telling a fantastical story. Like,
right.
Believe it or not, some of my youngest, most feral stories are embellished, but there's an internal logic in there. Like, I don't say, and he went to Hogwarts.
Right.
Because
she
there
would.
is that,
like that.
And this is where that entitlement comes in, or that lack of perspective, because she doesn't realize that these are universal things that you can't fudge. Like, no one's going to find out they're pregnant from an encounter 2 days ago. That that's not how any of this works.
But she peed on a test 5 times, Mo. Clearly, that means she's pregnant. That's all you need. Don't question anything else. Sorry, I have this hair that like sucks my lip. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, I think that, because I don't know if you know that on her last. Oh, did we freeze her on one? Hold on. There we go.
Google has
Double
been doing
Mo's.
this to me. I have double Mo's. I no idea.
Okay.
It
Wait,
was
I'm gonna get rid of
Momo.
the other one.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
they sent me, like, the last time
There we
it did
go.
this, they sent me like, send our engineers what happened, and I was like, I don't know, but there are 2 of me. But they said, we are sending this to our Fix-It team, and I don't know.
Yeah, like they're cloning you, obviously. So
That is the weirdest Jurassic Park yet.
But on her last filing for her criminal case with her attorney, when they were trying to, file for indigency, there's a there's a lie either being told to this criminal court, or there's a lie that was told to the U.S. trustees, because in there, her lawyer claims that she had income before 2025, and now she doesn't. And therefore, she should be declared indigent. I can't say it right. I know people left a lot of indigent.
Indigent.
Thank you. It's one of those words that, like,
I
your brain
can't
knows how to say it, but then when
judicial without sounding like judicial, which
Right.
really, so, and I'm like, great, that's why I picked trials to stream.
right, no, your mouth like doesn't want to work. You're like, "Bleh." And you're like,
Yeah.
but my brain knows.
I always
but-
feel so embarrassed because Baker's over here, he knows 37 languages and Pig Latin, and I'm like, I know American and slang, and I'm over here like reading word.
Right.
We struggle talking our own language. I was like,
I
All the
know,
time
and
to learn
Baker's over
another
here
one.
thinking in like Danish, then to English, then back to Danish, and I'm like, I can barely think in English.
Exactly. Same girl, same. But the brazenness for either, and she remember she told the feds, the U.S. trustee, and during her bankruptcy, she has never had a job. She has never had any income ever in her life at 35 years old. And now her lawyer is saying something completely different in her Arizona filing. And I was sitting as we were reading because Buffy was getting her hair done and she hadn't read it yet. And I had it. And I was like, just you wait. Because both things cannot be true in this scenario. And
Well,
why would you
what was
possibly
that
commit perjury again?
business endeavor? It was a lot of word salad, but I couldn't ever figure out what exactly the company business Instagram page was supposed to be doing.
She's just the face. That's it.
Yeah, because
Whatever that means.
I was like, it was something about community synergizing outside the box with liminalness, I was like,
In my opinion, allegedly, it seems those companies seem very scammy. But
Sounds
yeah,
like AI wrote the description.
mhm.
it it is interesting. I do wonder if the court will look at this as a sort of, increaser, or again, I wonder if the jury will punish her if that comes to light, not having a job, because
Yeah.
depending on how, I can see her going two ways. I can see her taking the plea deal or going full Sarah Boone and brazening it out and being confused why she gets a long term.
Mhm.
So those are kind of the two paths I see going
It would
forward.
make sense for her, to like try not to get the maximum sentence or whatever, but I don't think she won. She never wants to admit what happened because not only does she lose face in court, she loses face on the whole internet, and she cares way more what the people on the internet are talking about than anything, and is kept by the whole JFC war that she has in her, if her and her family have against them. I don't think they could actually do that at all. But what she doesn't understand is that the jury, she's not relatable to a jury at all.
No, not at all.
Her stuff's not going to make any sense to them. And I do think the punishment will be more if she goes to trial. I think she's at least going to delay as much as she possibly can because she always has previously.
I
Um,
see her firing this lawyer and pulling some
yes,
shenanigans. Um,
absolutely.
and or this lawyer he seems like he's trying to be a competent lawyer. So I can see him saying, there is a lot here, and her saying, we're going to do this, this, and this, and very much like Sarah Boone, I cannot do this ethically. There is nothing here. I suggest you take the plea deal. And
Mhm.
she fires him. And I think that it was a mistake for Arizona to have a different judge, kind of a judge that wasn't the case management judge, go through all of this, because this guy was so wishy-washy.
Oh, the settlement conference judge, that's what you're talking about, the one from a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
He-
Like, sir, you don't know what's going on. She's not a normal defendant, your honor. Like, this is not how it normally goes.
I don't understand the plea deal at all. It
No.
seemed like there was too much of a gap. There was nothing to agree to, because I wouldn't agree to any of those terms if that was a part of the plea deal. If I was her, I wouldn't. Like it was nothing in writing about how much time I'm getting for each thing to agree to.
Right? It
Well,
could
the
be
way
this
I
to this.
understood it, and I have to watch it again because they kind of went quick with, like, this is what you're pursuing to with this kind of thing. What I gathered is she was looking at some jail time at minimum, but up to potentially 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I gathered from it as well. But, like normally plea deals, right? They're like 25 years probation after. So, it's much more
Yeah, it's like
concrete.
it's very specific.
And then this one was not very specific at all. Because yeah, at first they read the full, they have to tell you the
Yeah.
maximum amount, the minimum amount, right? And I thought that's what they were doing. And then it was not what they were doing.
Yeah, I have
So
to
that was
dig into
confusing.
Arizona because I don't know if I know judges still have, discretion with plea deals, but to what extent they do, I think is usually determined by statute. So I'll have to check that out.
Hmm.
But there might be leeway in there for the judge to kind of, look at all of the case details. And I think that the length of time in the plea deal goes to the amount of times that she's done this. I don't think that 12 years would have been on offer if this were the first time. But I think
Hmm.
it's the cumulative. And I honestly think that the state wants to stick it to her with how much she's done, just in trying to get prepared for this trial. I
Yes.
think that it was a much better plea deal, maybe the first time they offered it. And now they're just like, you know what? Because you could tell the state attorney was just like, we're done. Like
Hmm.
it's off the table. We're out. See you in
Yeah.
court.
I mean, I don't think it's officially off yet because they
Well,
gave more
no.
time until the end of August. But based on the recent filings, I feel from her lawyer, it does. I mean, yes, filing them he should have. I mean, that is
Yeah.
accurate to do, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it does kind of signal a little bit like they're asking for experts and things like that, which again, I'm not opposed to. They should. And we said that before this one. Like, where's the filing for the digital forensic experts and shit? Like, because we're gonna need them with 4
And
terabytes of
I would
information.
wonder if there would be a mental health. So pseudocyesis is a medical condition where your body, a woman either doesn't want to be pregnant or wants to be pregnant so much that her body will start mimicking pregnancy. So you
Hmm.
will stop your cycles and everything else. So I wonder if there is a component of that. It is interesting that she picks twins all the time. I don't know what that's about. Unless that is more opportunity to say, "Oh, I lost one, I
I
still
think
have
so.
one," which is very mercenary, and I don't want to put that out there on her, but that does seem to be calculated
You
to
think
me.
you think she wants to be pregnant? Because I don't feel like she wants to be pregnant. She was very quick on the "I'll have an abortion if you
I
date me."
don't think she wants to because, again, pregnancy ultimately ends with a child who will take attention off of you.
Hmm.
And I think she would be very, this is my opinion, but I think she would be very much like a Diane Downs if she actually were a mom, allegedly in Minecraft. But very much you like the pregnancy and all the attention on you. But once the child is here and they don't give you love. Children don't
No.
give you love. You
Mm-mm.
invest in them. That's the job of a parent. But women like I think Laura and Diane Downs look at their children to fulfill something in them. So
Mhm.
and maybe she'll get better and if she had, a child, she'd be a good mom, I hope. But that's my opinion of what she'd be like as a mom and I don't think she's ready to have someone else have attention and be front and center.
Oh
Not at
no.
all. Not at all. And I do think the twins is a planned also kind of control of the situation. Like you can have something traumatic happen and yet you can still go back. Because she did that with Mike, right? Uh,
I
I believe as well as Greg and Clayton, right? She pulled the twin card with all three. I'm pretty sure, but now I'm like not sure
I
if it
would
was
want
one.
I would wonder where this idea came because this doesn't seem like something Laura came up with herself. It almost seems like a Lifetime movie. I swear to God. And she like watched Single White Female and she's like, I have a free time this Saturday and you know.
Well, I don't know, maybe it goes back from like childhood or something. Because like I don't know if it was like this for you guys, but when we would play like the game of life, right? And it was like, you got twins. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fill up my little car with all the twins. And that's because you're a kid and you don't realize what having twins is going to be like for your life. And so you keep choosing this one to go, because that's just what it reminds me of just being a kid and thinking that, having twins was this,
Oh,
and it is an amazing thing that
yeah.
happened, but it's exhausting. Like, every parent that finds out they're having multiples gets very scared, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
lot.
even one child, like they send you home with your first kid, like you know what you're doing, and you're like, are you sure you want to send me
Right?
home like alone? Alone?
Yes.
This is a
I remember
terrible idea. We should have started with a goldfish.
I remember putting my son in the car and just being like, is this legal? This is it? I gotta
They're letting me
I'm
go?
now in charge of this person. I don't feel it. And I was like 27, but still I was like, I don't think I'm old enough for this, but okay. Yeah, I
It,
remember that feeling.
and that's the sad part that really I wish that she would understand that there's so much more to parenthood. And she's such a surface and controlling person that she'll never feel all of these things. And yeah, parenting can be one of the hardest jobs, but it's also one of the most, rewarding.
Hmm. You're like, yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't know. I don't know how her criminal case is going to go. Listen, if she decides to go try, it's not happening this year. I'll tell you, I've been telling everybody that already. Don't get your hopes up. They're just now filing for experts. We're looking at spring, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
I would think we'll get Clenny before we get Laura Owens.
oh yeah. Is she still going to trial in August, or did they push that forward? Because I think
I
they
think they
pushed.
pushed that back, I believe. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Probably. That's one of those that I've been waiting for how many years now? And like that's now granted, these are murder cases we're talking about. It is a little, they really want to dot their I's and T's in those cases. But also they do with other ones as well. Like she still has these are felony charges. So they do go above and beyond to make sure, due process, equal ability to things. Just because it's not murder does not mean it's not serious. The court's
Well,
not taking it
and
seriously,
the last
So,
thing you want to do with someone like Laura Owens is give any wiggle room for an appeal because,
hmm,
she would take this all the way to the US Supreme Court,
absolutely. Which is
if not The
exactly why.
Hague.
That's why I don't think she'll take the plea deal.
I
Uh,
don't think she will.
so
I think she, like Sarah Boone, will go through the entire thing. I think she will be shocked as hell when she gets multiple years and she will turn around and do the surprise Pikachu face.
yeah.
And she'll be like Mackenzie Sharilla and still confused as to why we're all or Mackenzie Sharilla's parents. I think Mackenzie is very aware how mercenary she is.
Hmm.
Her parents, I wish I had them as parents. Like I could have gotten away with everything. Like it's her feelings. It's her glucose. It's low.
Right. It's the
Oh, it's like
gluten.
the gluten, like Jan said about Laura. Oh, look at that. There's trends, patterns.
But no,
My
I think
ADD
a
loves
lot of people
patterns.
have brought up Sarah Boone, and I agree. They are very, very similar as defendants. Thus far, I mean, honestly, there hasn't been a lot going on in the criminal case, which is why I thought, oh, both sides must think that a plea deal is probably going to happen, right? Because you've covered numerous cases as well, but it's been since November, and like there's barely any filings. And so
Well,
I thought they were like, yeah, she's gonna take a plea. Why
you've
not?
got to imagine that you're not only as a lawyer wrangling with the law and all this discovery, but you're also wrangling Laura and her parents.
Hmm.
And I'm guessing that makes your job triply hard because you can explain things over and over, and it's like talking to Jess Machado or, or like your kid when they refuse to listen. You can say the same thing over and over again. We don't take dishes out of the kitchen.
Hmm.
And And
They all
I'm
stuck
allowed
next
to
to the
because
bed.
I'm an damn adult. So leave me alone.
Oh, right. I earned this. I
Yes.
will have a
That
cover murder.
conversation with my 15-year-old every damn day, like she's never heard it before.
You know, my snapped episode is going to start thusly. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to try to use the restroom, and there's going to be no toilet paper. So then I'm going to go and I'm just going to try to get something to drink, and there's going to be no glasses. And then I'm just going to go try to take a shower, and there's going to be no towels. And then by the end of the day, there will be my van on fire in the middle of I-59. I just wanted a good day.
Don't worry, we'll cover your trial, Mo. Don't worry, we got you, girl.
Send bail money.
Yeah, I'm very. They've all found them. They being the whole Owens family at this point, are really in quite the predicament. Both, I feel, in federal court, now in the criminal court. I don't know what's going to happen next, quite frankly. I mean, I would think we would know, but she literally surprised. They do whatever you would never expect a reasonable person to do, and that's very unpredictable. Like,
It
ooh,
is unpredictable, and I don't think it's unreasonable. They just don't have any perception of consequence.
yeah,
So it's not that they're not illogical. They do have internal logic. It's just they've never, and this is the really sad thing. And as parents, they did her such a disservice. You know, not letting her face any hardship and sharpen those skills. Like, it sucks seeing your kids struggle or not
hmm
be picked or not get that invitation to the party or, you know, have to deal with bullying. That sucks, but you can't go in there and fix it for them, or they'll never grow that resistance and that, you know, ability to say, yeah, this really stinks, but I can still do it.
yeah. Which is very important, very important lessons to try, because the world doesn't stop being a dick
No,
when you
no,
get
and I
older. It
think
actually gets worse.
and
But
and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of this toxic female behavior, and I don't know if it's people
mhm.
are toxic. I I I think there was a big push to, you know, kind of dial down whatever you want to call toxic masculinity.
Mm.
So we really encouraged our girls. Okay, leave the cats alone.
Out of the mouth of babes. Aren't they fun? Summertime.
Summertime with the gay cat.
I'm gonna, we're gonna rename
Well,
the
thank
stream
you.
that. Summertime with Mo and her gay cat.
You know, never a dull
Oh,
moment.
I love it.
But in teaching girls to be strong, we haven't taught them what is toxic behavior. And I've seen a lot of girls, you know, kind of think that expressing like every feeling that they have, whatever it is valid, so they can
Mm,
express it however they want. No, yes, feelings, hormones, everything, but you still have to have self-control. And
yeah,
it feels like we've kind of taken away that responsibility for self-control or, you know, being in charge of your own emotions.
yes,
Yes, we all have strong, powerful emotions, you know, to a certain extent, but being an adult, being a sentient human is about controlling those.
absolutely. I mean, nothing will drive me crazier. Like I do care about other people's feelings, but when they're just like, well, but your feelings are not actually like always reality. Like your emotions are things that happen in the moment. They are not representative of reality quite a bit of a time, right? Now that doesn't
Yeah.
make your feelings invalid, but
No.
you have to accept the fact sometimes your feelings aren't correct or in your in your best interests. And that's where the other part of our brain comes in against those emotions. That is what makes us higher higher thinking animals, quite frankly, right? And I am not the best person when somebody speaks about my feelings. I'm like, okay, all right. I do care about your feelings. Some people think I sound cold, and yeah, maybe I do care about your feelings, but Like, can we sit and think about them before we do or say something on them?
I
But I don't
think
know if that
there's
comes from therapy, learning how to do
yeah,
that or
I feel
what.
like we're in a very therapized generation, and good maybe that we recognize certain things, but we tend to hyper-analyze a lot or try to justify all our feelings. And look, sometimes you can have a bad day, but that doesn't mean you need to analyze it like the Zapruder film and try to figure out if it goes back to your childhood. Sometimes you just have a shitty day.
Yeah, absolutely. But then when people don't apologize for their shitty emotional behavior, because those are my feelings then, and so I didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
no, you are
that's
still a
why I
fucking
don't have
asshole and you
many
should apologize.
girlfriends, because
Yeah.
but and therein lies the problem. I think that there is a certain segment, and again, it's up to women, and I think that's what's so powerful about this community being a lot of women calling out Laura's toxic behavior, because
Mhm.
unfortunately, we live in a time where men can't call it out without being called all the istophobias,
It's
and
true.
I don't mind being called a misogynist.
You
Okay.
No, we talked
Have
about
you
this a
met
bit.
other women?
Yeah, right. We're not kind to each other the majority of the time.
No.
But no, you brought this up during the fundraiser because, there is, and I think a reason why a lot of women are followers of this case is because how many of us are mothers to boys,
And that
and
is the terrifying thing.
yeah, because I think about Clayton's mom, Greg's mom, Mike's mom, to hear those things that she's accused those men of doing. First of all, how dare you accuse somebody of something so horrific? Like that's a no-go for many. I mean, yes, does it make, survivors of all of those things pissed? Yeah, but those poor mothers thinking about their sons and then also seeing her get away with these accusations she's levied against them. Like my heart breaks for
Well, and
their moms and stuff, and for
it's that
them.
and as a boy mom, I don't like the assumption that most men, every man I've known, most men have been good, honest, upstanding men. Yeah, do they
Yeah,
tell off-collar jokes? Absolutely. But if they knew that there was a predator among them, they wouldn't stand for it. So this kind of thought that men are all sit down and like, hey,
mm,
no, no, and we spend all this time, telling girls to look for red flags, and then these boys don't understand what abuse looks like from a girl.
yes,
It looks
yes.
like you don't listen to me, and I notice this with my daughter, and because she's in her first relationship and she's emoting all. I'm CC'd on their text for some ungodly reason. They text more than any human should ever. But I started noticing some concerning behavior with my daughter where
Mhm.
he couldn't he was emoting for a teenage boy, but he wasn't telling her what she needed to hear. And I was like, you guys are he's trying,
Mhm.
child of mine, but if you expect him to read your mind, that's not going to happen. So he's a teenage boy, and you need to let him, go out, be with his friends. He doesn't need to check in with you. This is a security in yourself. This is not
Right.
something that he needs to correct. So I had to talk to her, and I told her, quite frankly, with your behavior, if I were, your boyfriend's mom, I would tell him to break up with you. So you need to change it because this isn't appropriate. And it wasn't an easy conversation to have, but you know, oh no.
I've done that so many times before, text back it so many times. It's like,
Me
oh, it's just because
too.
I had it muted.
I'm like,
I
what
love
did
that.
I
But
have turned on and off my computer? I'm like, what the hell?
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a moron.
But on our other show, True Crime and Wine Time, we've just started covering the case of Sarah Hartsfield. And there is a lot of examples of domestic abuse at the hands of her against her many husbands. And that's the thing too, is I think, especially now that we're like a different generation of parents, because women for so many decades, listen, shit happens still all the time. We still have leaps and bounds to go. Yes. But we're also now, I feel, at a point where like we need to talk about the men as well, because women can be
No.
just as abusive, especially emotionally. We need to make it okay for men too to say that, because I mean, that's to them, right? They live in this world where, well, I'm a male, my emotions aren't real, like uh, I'll get through it's whatever, but they don't even realize it's abuse, right? Because I know as a woman growing up, right, you get the talks about sexual abuse way
Yeah.
earlier, physical abuse. Like you're given a lot of information at a very young age, where our
Yeah.
boys sometimes aren't given that same information, which can easily happen to them. I mean, I only have my one son,
Absolutely.
but we had those same conversations at a very early age with him because it's
Yeah,
real.
and I think it changes your perspective because I don't think I thought about any of this. I'll be very
Mhm.
honest with you until I had little boys.
Yeah.
And and that was a blind spot on my part. And it's not that I would be cruel to a boy child like but
No.
these just weren't worries I had. And I think that there is room for us to be there, but I think, you know, to kind of bring up there's still a very big stigma about a man coming forward. And kind of to bring up another topic that
Mm.
we were talking about, it is kind of depressing to be in the same place so many years later because we have the Lindsay Clenny case and we were
Yeah.
kind of talking about the Andrea Yates case. And, 20 years almost between those, we've known about postpartum psychosis and, we've known about so many different things for so long, and yet it keeps happening. And I know there
Mhm.
are a certain amount of things that you're never going to stop,
Right.
but you would think with as many fail safes as there are, how did this happen?
Hmm. Yeah, and that was the big issue with Clayton's case and all the others, is because they were these big guys, right? Physically, you're like, what, you know, a- and it wasn't until you got in that you got to see the emotional, in my opinion, abuse of
I-
these men, particularly Mike. Mike was in a very domestic abusive relationship with her, in my opinion. I've
and
seen those kind of
and,
things
and I
play out in
think
real life.
people don't understand how draining it is, how it's little drips and drops. It doesn't start out, with terrible and you not feeling like you
Mhm.
can drive places without looking at your odometer. It starts with, you know what, I don't think these friends are good for you. And it starts out good and maybe little improvement things and you think, you know what, everyone tries to improve for their partner.
Mhm.
What I do notice about Laura moving forward in her relationships is that sort of honeymoon period where I attempt to be kind of what you want is dramatically shorter with each successive relationship. Like with
Mhm.
Clayton, it was basically like, hang out with me by contract or uh,
Yeah.
I'll be mean to you on the internet.
Mhm.
But with Mike and the earlier ones, there was that whole buildup of almost a relationship, and
Mhm.
that's interesting. So I don't know if she finds that less fulfilling because, and then it makes me question why the hell does she want to? If she doesn't do that, then what is she wanting to get out of this?
Yeah. Or is she just, gets joy out of doing things like that? There's lots of things, but I do think
There,
I like this case because it does have male victims from a point of view that we don't get to see that often. And I think it's such an important thing to learn and to talk about. I know some people don't like talking about it, but we need to make sure that one, everybody knows anyone could be in an abusive relationship at any given point by any other kind of person. No one, it affects every race, every gender, every sex, every class,
yeah,
wealth, not wealth. It's literally everywhere. And with Clayton specifically, I mean, the other guys, they weren't, arguably famous, as David Gingras likes to say, but nobody wanted to touch his case because of the blowback that they were afraid because he was a male victim. And that is wild to me.
Well, it was also the climate. I mean, this has been several years. So that was the height of the Me Too movement before it was sort of shown to be a sham.
Yeah.
And again, I think that there were some tangible benefits to the Me Too movement, but instead of saying that anyone could be a victim, it went full feminist, and I think that it really lost some support. Had they been, you know, hashtag believe all victims, I think that it would have been universal and we might have seen an actual change, but because it got hijacked for ideological reasons, and I think it started off hijacked, to be very honest with you. Everyone knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing. This is since Marilyn Monroe has been the casting couch. So this is not, news. So I think it was beneficial to virtue signaling, but I do grieve that the movement it could have been.
Yeah. And I respectfully do agree with you as well, because, and back, if we're going to do it for one set, we need to do it on the other. I mean, for decades, we've heard about sexual assault on little boys in churches and things like that. And it took decades before they would even say anything because of the stigma attached with that. And it's still happening to little boys and men everywhere. And we
Well, and
can't.
I think if we want to peel off the band-aid, and I think that this is what the grooming gangs are to the UK, I think that the American public education system is going to be. With the amount of newsy news I do and teacher predators out there, I believe that if there was a full accounting of, because teacher unions have been known to move problem teachers around to protect them,
Mhm.
especially if they have tenure. I do believe in the coming generations, if we do an audit, then it's going to make the grooming gangs look comparable over here. I mean, as much as we talk about the Catholic Church and everything else, the truth is the DCF, the child protective system, and the public school system are probably, more dangerous because they're more used. I mean, not
Yeah,
everyone's a Catholic.
right. Oh, yeah, no. And just to be fair, it happens in all
Yeah, yeah.
religions, all churches, not just specifically them
No,
either, but
as a
it's
recovering
alarming
Catholic, it
to see.
always it like look, it
Well,
is a sin on
mhm.
Catholicism and the Archdiocese and the Vatican. I don't disagree, but if we want to talk about that, then we need to talk about the very real and current problem with children's services and the public school system and teachers unions.
And I will say, in regarding Laura's cases, she was able to get away with a lot because she was a woman with her claims.
Well,
I don't think that's disputable. It's very like it is very obvious in the rulings and the paperwork that's going that it wasn't until she got female judges that they were like, "Girl, what?
Well,
No."
well, not only
And that's a
that,
problem.
but legislatively, the ability to put out a paternity test without any confirmation from a court, like I
Mhm.
don't want to go full Handmaid's Tale, like bend
No.
over and cough women if you're pregnant, but there should be some sort of validation. I mean, this is so easy to game. The Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial, where her ex went in and said all crazy stories without any documentation. It it does make you wonder if there could be systems in place not to put a bar for victims, but to validate,
Mhm.
certain things. Because there is a certain type of person, male and female, that will weaponize this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's I mean, that we're also infuriated by how much Laura's gotten away with, how much other people have in the courts. And yeah, that's gonna happen. But we also need to protect victims from the fact that, yeah, the fact that she was what allegedly 6 weeks or whatever and filed a paternity. Like, are you serious right now? How is this a thing? I think that's a little wild. And Laura is not the first person that has done this. There are plenty of other people that have done this. And I sit there and think, well, what if they would have wanted the kids? What if they
And
were like,
that's the
yeah, that's fucked to do to
and
another person.
and that's where I think that she doesn't realize she's really going to lose it, because if any one of these men, and especially Mike, now that he's become a father and knows the joy in that, there is something so incredibly cynical about not taking the other person. Again,
Mhm.
pregnancy is a very female thing. You're growing the baby in your body, but to take away, the validity, my husband was right there,
Mhm.
had anything happened to that baby, he would have been my support, or any of our kids, he would have been my support. So to take away that grief from them, it's so gross.
So gross.
It and it treats him like a stud almost. It
Mhm.
and not a person. And as much as we want to talk about agency, that it's just ick on
Yeah.
so many levels, because there are some men who do dream about being fathers, and they're no less masculine. They
Mm-mm.
want to have a legacy. It's not, it's there's different, drives for men to want to, enter into parenthood than women, but they're there. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, elbow feet, he'll still, like, literally 2 weeks ago, probably, he broke down crying over the baby that, we lost from a miscarriage a year and a half ago. Like, it is a big deal to men as well. And I understand not all men, and that's fine, right? There's assholes
Yeah.
everywhere. There's assholes everywhere. But
Well,
to do that, to play that kind of game, because if she never got called out for lying,
no.
those
And
guys could have believed it all to be true. And that does affect you to a certain degree, you know?
yeah, because you don't just lose a baby, you lose that future. Because
Yes.
as soon as that stick turns pink, you're already thinking, okay, you get out your smartphone, or you start doing months, and you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait, it's 10, but we'll just, judge it. So you're already doing that. You're already,
Hmm.
you know, you're terrified, you're excited, and it's all those feelings, and it's so incredibly disrespectful. And I don't think she does it maliciously. I don't think there's an intent to be hurtful there. I think she's oblivious.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it better, because I think if she were to understand and grasp all of the feelings and what went into it, but she just kind of sees it as a narrative, a story. She's not ever lived it. So I think if she had to sit down with someone who'd be willing to talk to her, and I think she would at least sort of understand it, she'd have to be open to changing. And I don't know if she's ever going to be open to changing.
Yeah. I don't think, and that's how I knew that she has never had a miscarriage, ever. Because
No.
you do that, trust me, you wouldn't want anybody to ever, you would never, ever, like, you wouldn't lose twin babies at how many months in November and be perfectly fine in February. Like, it doesn't happen. I mean, I was
No.
only 10 weeks and it was devastating. And the longer
But
you
it's
go
not
and it
10
happens,
weeks.
like,
It's
yeah.
like a forever.
Hmm.
You've imagined an entire life. That's
Oh, yeah.
and and grief is a suck club. No one, it's like the weirdos who fake being hurt.
Hmm.
Like, I don't get it. I am hurt, so I don't, but it's not, whatever perks you think I have aren't perks to me. And I think it's just a very kind of immature way of looking at things.
Hmm.
She's very much in the 12 to 14, if not 10 to 12 kind of way. So she kind of gets the sort of
Oh,
abstract
like, of
feelings.
emotionally, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with
yeah.
that very much. It's the only explanation anyway that I can think of. But
Well,
yeah.
because you're starting to get more complex emotions, but you're very much still in how everything centrally affects you. So you're in that stage where you're sort of starting to understand how other perspectives are, but you're
Hmm.
still very much in the this is my perspective and this affects me and why don't they get me? Whereas
Yeah.
usually as you mature, you start to say, oh, okay, well, they had a really crappy day and then this happened. So maybe they aren't, being a dick. They didn't handle it well, but.
Yeah. I think she's definitely very emotionally stunted and was put in such a bubble that she cannot connect
It,
with
she's
reality of real
incredible.
people and real problems.
And I know this would probably bother her um, immensely. And I don't mean it as I pity her.
Yeah.
I pity her.
It's sad.
I can't imagine how empty she must feel inside. I, and it makes me very grateful for the life I have. Maybe I'm not glamorous and I don't have horses, but I have people who genuinely care for me,
Hmm.
and it is sad to see people that are so in debt with that. They just don't have any real connections, and it's sad. I think if anything, YouTube has really shown the difference between authenticity and what people think authenticity is.
Yes. Yes. I
A-
agree.
And and how quickly it is very interesting to me to watch how little fame it takes to change people sometimes. Because look, people are like, you have 6,000 followers. And I'm like, I am a teeny tiny channel. Like, I don't tell people what I do because
Yeah.
usually I say, like, I stream and then people look at me and then I'm like with my clothes on.
Right? Yeah, I've told people what I do too, and they're just like, "What?" They don't mind, they don't care. They're like, "I don't even
No,
understand what you're telling me right now." It's like, "That's fine.
no.
You don't
Yeah.
need
So
to. I'd rather you not."
it's the 900 hours of trying to explain what I do. So I'm just like, I stay home. Like, but it is interesting. And I think that it will be interesting to see how generations deal with this new sort of social, landscape. Because it is interesting to see now kids starting to gravitate toward flip phones and things like that, more analog stuff.
Mhm.
Or at least that's some headlines like, look, I'm not in with the cool kids, so I don't know what they're doing now.
I've heard the same, but then,
So
like, I don't know, I remember texting with just the little flip phone, it takes
I,
forever.
I I was trying to because here I am thinking about like you know when I was 19 and I would leave my mom like a post-it note like going out, be back sometime. And now if my kids aren't like out with a, Life 360, I'm like, do you imagine we just went out with like a post-it note and no one knew where the hell we were? We're just
No.
out.
Yeah. Be back when the street lights come on. Dinner will be ready,
Yeah.
or things like that. Yeah, that's the way it used to be. It's wild. But then, like, I'm like, raising kids now in today's world. Yeah, you do kind of need to keep a little bit more track of them because you're just like, because they have more access to people now than like we did growing up, right? It would just be like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
community or your neighborhood or
Well,
a
that's
few
like,
phone numbers you had. But
and
now it's
and now it's like Roblox and, you hear them talking to someone and you're like, "Who the hell?" And it's like
mm-hmm.
and husband's like, "No, it's a kid from his class. I listened to the voice."
Yeah.
You know, but still it there is so much more. And I will say, as dumb and silly as teenagers are, they're dealing with a lot more. All of my stupid stuff never got recorded
Yeah.
and saved for the
Same.
internet.
Mm-mm.
So I can't imagine dealing with that.
No.
But it, as much as things change, they're still the same. They're rebelling. Although it is hilarious to see it go back to the early 80s where now conservatism is punk rock. Like Michael J. Fox in the
And
young Republican
yeah,
suit is
the
now. It's just like, what timeline are we
my
in?
biggest concern with what is with their haircuts. That's all. That's really my biggest problem is I see the
And
hairs and
they're
I'm like,
getting
what is happening?
perms. The
Arms.
the bo-
The new one is short in the top. It's like a skull mullet, and it's so like. And then some of them are having like the '80s thing again, where it makes them look 40. And I
the
was like,
porn stash.
yes, what is
I'm
that
like, you
about?
all look like you need to see Mike Henson. I was like, this
Right?
is not the look you want to do. It's like,
No.
you look like you shouldn't even be near this school.
It's yes, the reverse mullet thing. It's wild. It's
I
wild,
feel
but
so bad for my girls. I'm like, how are you going to find a husband to give me grandchildren? They all look like freaks. I'm like,
I mean, I guess maybe they just don't give a shit what people think, and that's if so great, bless them for their really bad. I mean, we definitely, I bet just as well as I have, had
oh,
bad looks, had bad hair, all
oh
of the
yeah.
above. We all do it and go through it.
Well,
But
that's why I never got into makeup because the early aughts, like
mm,
people picking foundation, I didn't understand the line of foundation. Like that freaked me. I could never understand why that was the look. So I just avoided makeup because I'm
yeah,
like, or you could pick a color that matches your skin and then the concealer lips and
and the
oh,
bronzer. Don't
oh
forget the
yeah.
heavy bronzer. Yeah, I'm
And
not.
then the really white concealer right here. So you could strobe.
And the glitter everywhere. The glitter everywhere. No,
Uh,
I am still not good at doing makeup. I didn't learn how until I was an adult, and even then that's why you'll never see a llama getting ready video because I know I don't do it right. I like
No, it
I
is this for me. Who decided this was a thing? I want to go and stop them. Like, why? Why with the clickety clack? Must we clickety clack? I
oh,
don't
with the
understand it.
nails.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, mine are just regular. These are my real nails always. But I when I started streaming, like, because I hardly ever wear makeup out, but then I'm like, fuck, I'm 40 and on camera now, so I guess I should probably do it, right? So I was like, okay, I'll go to Target. I spend 3 hours in the makeup. I don't even know what I don't know what anything really does, right? I've just been a foundation, some eyeliner, and mascara kind of girl. Like that's it. And so I get one of those makeup sponges, right, that I've seen
oh
people do.
yeah.
So I was using that. And then it was about 4 months later when I was watching some Big Brother live feeds that I learned I was using it completely wrong. Like completely wrong.
I didn't know you were supposed to use concealer after the foundation. Like,
What?
I would think concealer would
Oh,
go conceal before. No, apparently it's on after. I'm
after?
like,
Oh, I'm doing that wrong too.
believe me, the amount of videos I watched with bearded men who do better winged eyeliner than me, I was like,
Oh,
this is just not fair.
my partner Elbow Feet, he can do like if all I have left is this liquid eyeliner that I don't even know how I got. I cannot put it on. He masterful at putting on liquid eyeliner. And I'm like, I don't even he was a
Just
theater kid, so
unfair.
there's that. But it
Unfair.
was. It was. So I get it. I don't watch any of the make I probably should, but I don't. Um,
Well,
but
I
I'm like, no, the
learned
internet will yell
that
at
I'm
me.
so pale that if I, like, sometimes I won't put on makeup, but to look like I, do not need Make-A-Wish, I
Mm.
have to put on a little bit. Although,
Yeah.
apparently, no. Apparently, I can just be an avatar, go to Dunkin's, yell at people.
As we learned, like, you know what?
I, I
Just throw
know.
stuff out. Forget about having serious shows and doing your research or anything of that nature. Just go do crazy shit. And that's what people want to see on the internet, apparently. Okay, good. Buff's back. Buff, I gotta go take a quick bathroom break. So
One sec.
that
Sorry.
I think that leads good into the whole Jess thing. If you guys want to talk about that, but I'm really
Oh,
gonna go.
yes.
Oh,
Well,
cat butt.
so, what it actually kind of goes back into the Laura thing because I think, you know, we didn't realize all that Baker was dealing with because he was very stoic about it. I mean, and and I think that's, very professional. He, as much as she claims, he never talked he doesn't talk bad about other creators, you know.
Right.
I don't know what their green room is like, but we don't spend time talking about them. Sorry. Like we're usually, you know, like we found this stupid meme, or you know, or I found this stupid meme. It's not
Right,
about you,
right.
Jess. I, it is a weird thing, and I think that we've seen Baker be really, really professional about it, in as much as you can on YouTube. Like last night,
This was the cat that when it died it made me sad.
I know. It was, yes. I'll be done in about 20 minutes, okay? And then you can be loud. He's like, I've been quiet for more than 10 minutes. Am I doing good?
I know, because mine just did the same thing. He was like right there, and he was like, I need this. And he had his machete out, and he's like, I need you. I'm like, oh.
I
It's
swear
not
to
a real
goodness.
machete, y'all. Don't let my kid play.
No, no, but
It's a
like
play
3
one.
years I've been doing mornings with Mo every morning. What time is your stream now? It's like,
Yes. Yes. I understand. I understand.
But
Feral 7-year-old or kids, any general, any age.
and there were a lot of the emotional kind of things as well. The, you know, if you don't call me back or if you don't talk to me, then, you know, I'll do something allegedly in Minecraft. And it really plays on the good feelings, and that's the other part that's really upsetting, is abuse like this, or manipulation, coercion, whatever you want to call it. It really plays on the very best sort of protective instincts of men. You know, men want to protect, and they want to comfort, and they want to fix, and it really does play on those, you know, that sort of, those instincts, and it's gross. But Baker went on this morning, and, you know, for someone who has done a lot bad to him and, you know, never apologized, he wants her to get help. And that is one thing. Surround yourself with people who are classy and professional and not insane.
Agreed. Agreed. And if
But
somebody shows you who they are, you listen. And then
yeah,
you
and
just, no, thank you.
and I think there's something about remembering that you're human. I've seen a lot of it. One of my favorite streamers was Styx Hexenhammer. He had kind of an irreverent news sort of stream, and he was one that I always thought, gosh, if I ever was going to do something, I'd do a news stream like him. And it seems like he's really struggling with some personal issues right now, and it's really sad to see how sometimes you can have all of these blessings and all of these people that look up to you and all of this, and either you start to huff your own farts, or you get in this echo chamber. Because I do wonder about, the creators are not as fascinating to me as the people who encourage this toxic behavior in chat. Because it does feed into that very, you know, kind of base part of us that loves low-cal. I mean, look, I am not above it. I am an
Doesn't, but
Amberlyn Reed foodie booty, you know, girl from the old days. So I am not above it. And if you put yourself on the internet, you are like, I'm a weirdo. I know it. If you don't like me, I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
no. I mean, there's 8 billion people on this planet, and most of those
Yeah.
motherfuckers aren't going to like me. You know, and
Get
that's
in line.
fine. That's fine, you know, but I do think it is hard on creator side of things, because also then people like forget that you're human.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is
sometimes
the weird thing.
it is, because they'll make comments sometimes elsewhere in other places that I'm like, you do realize we're all like real people, And especially when, people try to pit people against one another or like, what are you doing? And it can be
I
really bad on a creator's mental health, quite frankly.
I think because I tend to completely turn off. I don't. There might be 3 or 4 channels that follow me and make fun of me on a daily basis. I have no idea. I don't look myself up. I don't social blade myself. I
Yeah.
don't do any of that. I, Mainly because I know it would probably live rent free in my head. But you know what,
Hmm.
Jessica, you can do? It's called mute the conversation.
Right?
Oh,
There are going to be
no,
trolls.
she
There are going to be
cannot.
people that just do not like you. And you can either live your life worrying about what they think, or you can just turn on the police, message in a bottle, and, YOLO.
Exactly. I mean, I've been on the YouTube streets for many of years, and it's very easy when once you've been around long enough and seen a lot of happen to different kind of creators in all different, genres and fields. There's a lot you can learn when you yourself become a creator, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
don't get too involved with that because that's going to take away your energy and your light and everything you need to put into what you want to like. Don't get distracted with the busyness. It's going to come no matter what. It's
Yeah.
not escapable. Like you're
No, no,
gonna
I
have
thought
at
I was
all.
like, I am in my own little island. I do not
Yeah.
collab. And then somehow I'm still in drama. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's part of the biz. But yeah, no, I mean it is you do have to constantly check in with yourself to
And
be
you
like,
have to have
okay,
people that will call you on your poo, and
yes.
and that's a good friend. A good friend will say, "Hey, maybe back away from this." And having a humble heart has never led me wrong.
Hmm.
So, taking I can take everyone's point of view and then take wisdom from that. I don't have to take their criticism personally, but I can objectively look at it and say, you know what? I do tend to babble a lot. Good point.
Good
However, there
point.
is law and crime.
Ugh, right? Oh, do you get that too? Why do you keep stopping and interrupting? It's like because that's literally what I do. I don't
Yeah,
go.
or
I'll sit here and watch it. I've
you're
gotten a
not a
lot of that.
lawyer.
Yeah,
I
that too.
I didn't claim to be one.
Right.
I'm
Make
I'm
that
I
wearing
perfectly
a
clear.
Victorian wig. At what point did you think this was a serious legal analysis?
right. Yeah, I've gotten that woman needs to shut her mouth quite a few times, or that we're hard to listen to, or whatever. Which okay,
I
fine.
usually say, yeah, those
Like
women be lippy.
I know, right? Like, yeah, that's what our channel. I don't know. I always feel whenever I do get like comments like that, I'm just like, what? How do you have the time in the day to even leave a comment? Like I don't understand. What are you doing with
Yeah,
your time?
it's amazing. Like,
Okay.
I go through like a bunch. I mean, you guys have seen my morning stream. I have to go
Mhm.
through a lot of weird to get through that. Rarely do I ever stop to type, "You suck as a content creator. I took the time out of my very busy schedule to write you this message."
Right.
I just felt like you guys needed to know.
I hate to
It's
say
like,
it.
why though?
But yeah, like, would you say
Do
that to
you?
my face? Like, are you gonna show up at my house and
Or
be like, you
know,
suck? No.
find
But yeah.
another stream.
It's like, get behind my mother.
Mhm.
Like, seriously.
But it is like, God, Baker's been doing this for how many years now? What, at least 4?
Yeah, I
3,
think we
4? At
started
least?
around the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll go with him, whatever he says.
Yeah.
I'm like the
Well, that's
dude in
just
the
for my
relationship. How long have we been married?
when's our anniversary? No, it is true that the classier, the creator is, the longevity, and that comes with a lot to be that way because everybody wants to pop off, of course, when they've done something, right? And it really does take a certain kind of person to be graceful. And I've never personally heard Baker really be like outlandish. As a matter of fact, the stuff that people were talking, I didn't even know any of that was going on because,
He was
you
Oh,
know,
very behind the scenes. He didn't say much, and I think
Mhm.
those of us. That's why you saw a lot of us who who rarely get into the drama like this get on. And it looked like a pylon. If I
Yeah.
were an observer, it did look like a pylon. But that's the thing that I think that the bunnies don't understand, because they do this at the behest of Baker. Didn't ask any of us to do this. We did this because we saw our friend who's been dealing with this alone for a long time. And then, you know, it affected all of us who were at Dollywood. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it
and
was Dollywood. It was like right after or during when things started to get really
You unfixed that.
yes, I
spicy.
did.
Was
Or
there
at least
actually
public.
a SWAT at Dollywood? Or
So
something?
what happened was, we were getting ready for the event, and a police officer came in, and I, honest to God, thought someone had ordered a stripper because he was attractive. I mean, so
In
I was
fairness,
like,
with the group you were with, I think that would have been a fair,
I
like,
was like, we got strippers this time? Holy crap!
yeah.
I have ones and a five, but he's got to take his shirt off in this economy. If I'm giving you a five, shirt off.
Let's see those nips,
Yeah.
sir, officer,
I was like,
policeman,
where's your
sir.
boom box? Come on. I was like, I never got a bachelorette party. This is going to be the life.
No, turns out that was not the case.
No, and it didn't hit us, I think, because it was one officer until all of us got home. And I remember kind of sitting there, feeling a bit weird, because it was hitting me that, you know, it could have gone so different, because it wasn't until we all got home and we realized, regardless of who showed up and how many showed up, no one, the person who called didn't know what was going to happen, and it could have gotten so wrong. And that's where you stop.
Might have not been here.
Yeah, don't say that with such enthusiasm, child. I can write you out of the will.
Oh, they're so funny, those little ones.
But it's that the internet is the internet, and I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in the gamification of it, you know, I'm on this team, I'm on that team, and we forget that is a real world. And again, it's kind of like that sad disappointment that we're here again after Charlie Kirk. Like, you would think that would have been such a wake-up call for most people, and I know it was.
The tribalism.
Well, as a content creator, I mean, I know after that there were certain things that I kind of backed off on for a while, you know, because they're cases in my state. And, you know, I generally stay apolitical and things like that. But it just drove home how, you know, one crazy person, and you don't even know what you've said to bother them.
Yeah.
You know, it could be, you know, anything rational to anything, like you just, you know, had a white blanket, and they've, you know, done the Candace Owens things, and they've realized that you're in league with Israel because of it.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
But
you
yeah, you're
know,
right. Yeah, like
it
people get wild.
that and people sometimes forget that we're human too. And if I could, because I am going to let Youngest Most Feral be loud, so I'm probably going to pop out soon.
That's okay.
If I could say anything, is that, you know, yes, the internet is fun, but it's not real life.
Exactly.
It's not. And as much as drama is out there, there are millions of good, you know, everyday simple acts of kindness that don't get headlines. So as much as the world seems much more messed up, it really isn't. I mean, I find the weird headlines, but the world isn't as messed up and as much as, you know, this is the weirdest timeline. Every generation of humans thought they were living in the end times, and none of them have been lucky enough. No, I'm just kidding.
I say that.
Look,
No,
I do
I
the
say
news
it all
every
the
day.
time. You know, history is a circle. There's nothing, we just have different players, some different things, but in the end, it's the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, it's not to take away from the seriousness of how certain people's decisions can affect future. Like that's very real because it's
Yeah.
also happened, but also like this is part of humanity. This is part of the history. I do believe that there are more good people than bad people out there, or not great people, opportunists, if you will.
Yeah.
And I do think that the good people with goodness in their hearts that try to do their best need to keep up guards about people trying to take that away from you
And
or
and
use it against you. Like you are a target, you are prey for certain
that
types of people.
that is maybe the thing as a creator that was the most difficult to learn because I've been a stay-at-home mom, so I never had that office culture and
Mhm.
I kind of did the PTA thing, but I'm an inside cat. I mostly amuse myself. I'm hilarious to be with. So
I think
like
you're fucking hilarious.
the kind of stark realization that the high school kind of behavior didn't ever go away with certain people. I was very naive and that was more on me. It was a learning, like some people are acquaintances, some people are friends, and
Mhm.
and learning that was definitely somewhat painful, but uh, it it was astounding that people can be, nearly perimenopausal and still trying to be Regina George.
Yeah,
It's
it's wild. But it's real life. Like it is one of those
yeah.
things that the older you get, you're like, you really do start to see the difference in, your age category of whatever, of where there are stunted people or malicious manipulating people. It's wild. And
I
so I
mean,
just,
for
you know,
job security for us, thank goodness. But
right, right. But it is something I think that a lot of people, like all of those things. Hi, Nick. Speaking of, well, he's not related to anything we just said, but I have Mo here. And I was just thinking about you, Nick, because I was like, damn, I haven't been on with him and Mo. Because you've been on his show like the last 2 weeks, I think. Were
yeah,
you
I
were on for
I
the Fourth
wanted
of
to
July. I couldn't be
yeah.
on. Uh,
And then we did the fundraiser for veterans. Nick is fabulous, and he won't brag. Okay, he'll slightly humble brag, but he
yeah.
really fundraising. If you need something, and he's generous with his time and his liver. Um, okay, youngest most feral is signaling. He's like, okay, I've been good. Like, can we go now? So thank
Almost
you so
like
much
yes.
for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Uh,
No, thank you for
and
coming on anytime. Always a
And
pleasure. So,
well, it's so nice to talk because sometimes we do get into that loop of everyone's doing this and I want to do, and we all do our own take on the
yeah.
same video. And then it's nice to kind of talk about something else. And
Hmm.
that's what I like about the community because none of us can, cover all the trials, but I'm like, oh, so and so is covering this and, go get their take and I'll do it at some point.
Yeah. No, that is the great. And I just like when we can just hang out and not be like
Yes.
on, I think that's
Yes.
really important. But thanks so much for joining us,
You are
Mo.
welcome, and
Um,
thank you for having me. And then next time we do a fundraiser, Mr. Mo has reminded me I have so many finished cross stitch projects that we can't afford to frame unless we win the lottery.
oh, right.
So, because I felt like such a dingbat, um, because someone was like, "Well, why didn't you donate some of your cross stitch?" And I was like, "I completely forgot I had them because they were in a drawer."
Yeah, don't feel like a dingbat at all. No, it's just even you showing up was amazing for the fundraiser as well. And again, I appreciate
I
that.
had so much fun. And a good cause. I like being
Hmm.
it is nice as much as I, complain about the drama. This is a wonderful community and you see the pendulum. You see, the sort of dumpster fire Sharknado of weirdness and then you also see this really good community that is taking stories that the mainstream isn't looking at and getting help for people that might not have gotten help
Yeah.
otherwise. So thank you guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning with Shizzy.
All right.
Send me a
Sounds
wig.
good. Sounds good. Thank you so much,
Guys,
Mo, for being
you're
on with us.
welcome.
Have a good one, babes. So if you guys haven't yet, please go to Mo in the Deep End there's an end there. I always forget the end part, but go subscribe to her channel. She does a morning stream very early in the morning. You'll never see Llama getting up that early to do a stream. And she does. She talks about all sorts of things in different she's always streaming. If not on her channel, on other people's, she pops up
Yeah,
everywhere.
she's great.
And she is great. I very much enjoy our conversations with her because it is nice to get other people's opinions and to talk about so
Thanks.
many different things. So make sure you go like her. She's also on Nick's show a lot, which hopefully I can be on again soon. I've just been busy the last 2 Fridays. But yeah, so that was a lovely hangout. So don't you just wish we could just hang out with people every day?
Yeah,
Can we just do
that would
panels every day, just hang out and what?
be just talk.
It's so much less work than everything else we do. No, we do the other stuff because we care about it, we're passionate about it. Attention needs to be had to those things. Trust me, we very much love what we do and cover. But so that's all we got for you guys today. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I got another show at 8 p.m. tonight, True Crime and Wine Time, where we're doing part 2 of the Sarah Hartsfield story. If you haven't yet, please go watch our first part of that. It's a really interesting story. Speaking of domestic abuse, flipped, something you don't see very often. This is an excellent case of showing that and getting awareness out through that story because she's an awful, awful woman all the way around. She's a bad mom. She just sucks at everything. But we'll be doing part 2 at 8 p.m. And then Buffy and I will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, for Laura Owens stuff. And not only that, in case you missed our morning stream, I have a box right here that somebody sent me something. And inside is something amazing. And so I'm going to share with you all tomorrow on the Laura Owens stream what's in the box. What's in the box? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I can't believe I'm still sitting on it, and not talking about it, and being such a good llama. But we will reveal what's in this box that was sent to me tomorrow. So, all right, friends, you all have an amazing rest of the day. And Buff, you have anything to say?
No, I'm good.
Oh, it's amazing, all caps. Y'all are gonna lose your mind like I did when I opened it. Like, oh my gosh, are you serious right now? So, all right. Yes, Ronnie. Yes. And all the Mo people that joined us, please
The Mo
subscribe.
people. It's the Church of
The
Mo.
Church of Mo. I mean, she is
Her
magnificent.
congregation is here.
We appreciate your guys' support as well. All right, friends. Until next time, go forth and be amazing. All right. All right. Bye, friends.